boys and girls, terrific Thursday. We are closing up and wrapping up week 3. I can't believe it. We're almost done. Only one more week after today. So today's video is going to be a little bit shorter. I'm going to go ahead and do a review with you, and it's going to be a little bit shorter because you have more work to do today. You're going to have to do a show what you know, and there's a good bit of work in there. Okay, so I'm just going to do a review with you before you get started on that. All right, so make sure you have your workspace book and something to write with. Okay, so going through our workspace book. Yesterday we did our concept web where we talked about all the different things we've done. We did tiles capture game, and we did the multiplication capture game. Okay, hopefully you had a little fun with that. All right, so let's just go back and review everything we've done so far regarding multiplication. Okay, so we started out with circles and stars. If I have a number cube, I roll. I got a 2. I'm going to do 2 groups or 2 circles. I'm going to roll again. Got 4. That means 4 stars go in each. So circles and stars is representing equal groups. So remember we said I could do 4 plus 4, 4 stars plus 4 stars, equals a total of 8 stars. Okay, and then I could write that as a multiplication equation. How many groups or how many circles do I have? I have 2 groups of 4 stars each. So the multiplication equation would be 2 times 4 equals 8. So we can do repeated addition, or we can do our multiplication equation. So we've been playing circles and stars. And there was a multiplication game you could play with that, and you can practice that in our digital resources. Okay, writing the equations. All right, we did quite a bit of that. There was a circle and stars capture game, which you can also play digitally, where it's the cards that you flip over. Do I have those handy? I don't know if I have those right here. Oh, right here. Okay, where each player flips over a card, and whoever has more stars takes both cards. Okay, so we did that. All right, I'm just moving right on through the book so you can look with me. I'm now at page 13. We talked about things that come in groups in the real world. So we said groups of 2. Remember these group lists? Groups of 2. We said socks come in groups of 2, twins, eyes, slices of bread on your sandwich, shoes, chopsticks, bird legs, ears, feet, and hands were just some of them, and you were supposed to come up with some of your own. Things that come in groups of 3, tennis balls in a can, triplets. That's when you have 3 babies all born at the same time. The sides on a triangle, tricycle wheels, traffic lights, the red, yellow, and green on the traffic lights. Okay, and if you turn the page, we talked about things that come in naturally in groups of 4s, dog legs, table legs, sides on squares, chair legs, the edges around a picture frame, that perimeter, wheels on cars. Things that come in groups of 5, our fingers on our hands, the points on the stars, toes on your feet, fingernails on your hands, petals on violets, sides on pentagons. And then things that come in groups of 6, insect legs, points on a snowflake, sides on a hexagon, and faces on number cubes or dice. Okay, and you could have come up with some of your own there too. All right, and then we did some equal group problems. How many tea bags in each jar, with how many jars, the sheep on the bikes. And then we talked about equal rows. Remember when we're talking about equal rows, that rows go across, right? So if I have, let's say, 3 times 4 as my factors, I don't know my product, I need 3 rows going across, and I'm going to put 4 tiles in each row. It's 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So I'd get a product of 12 there, equal rows, rows going across. We also talked about rotating that and flipping that so we can get the commutative property, and I could have 4 rows of 3 in each row. And that would give me 4 rows of 3 tiles, still equals 12. It's just turned, right? Okay. And that's the commutative property. Everybody say that, commutative, okay? We're going to be talking about that a lot in 4th grade, your commutative property. All right, you did a show what you know. I'm just flipping through the pages to review. We did word problems. There's 5 monster trucks. Each have 4 wheels. How many wheels in all? Using some of that patterning for those word problems. We wrote our own word problems. We did a whole bunch of multiplication equations. We looked for patterns with our products. We played multiplication bingo. First we did it just with the number cube 1 through 6. 1 through 6, and then we added 0 to 5. So then we also talked about 0, and we looked at the patterns of 0. When you multiply by 0, you always get a product of 0, right? Okay, so we played multiplication bingo both ways, with zeros and without. We did a little where the lines cross. So if I rolled a number cube and I got 4, that would tell me how many rows to make. And then let's say I rolled it and I got a 2, that would tell me how many columns to make. 4 is my first factor, 2 is my next factor. I'm going to circle everywhere they cross or intersect. And I get a product of 8. Good. All right. And then we played where the lines cross. And then we played multiplication capture, which was with these kind of cards. Got cards everywhere. Well, we did also where the lines cross capture. And remember, you can play that digitally. You flip over the cards like that. And as you can imagine, these will be really fun to play in school when we're back in school. We played tile capture, where you flipped over these cards, the arrays. And then where we just had the straight up multiplication equations that we flipped over. Right? Okay, and the higher product wins the cards. All right, fabulous. We read Amanda Bean's Amazing Dream. I love that book. All right, where the lines cross capture. We did yesterday our big multiplication web where we wrote down all the ideas we had about multiplication, and then we played that tiles capture and multiplication capture. Okay, which brings us to today. So as I said, this is a short video today. I just did a review of everything we've done so far, and today your job is to, this is kind of like end of 3-week check to see how you're doing for your teacher. So make sure you have this done before you meet with them on their Teams meeting today, which is why I'm making this video a little bit shorter, because the work is going to take you a little bit longer today. All right, so you need to complete page 52 and 53 on your own, because you want to show your teacher what you've learned so far. All right, so it's show what you know. The first directions on page 52, if you're looking at it here. See, there's a lot of work here. Write the product. So all you're going to do for problems 1 through 21 is just write the answer in the boxes. Okay. Now, the next set of directions in this big yellow box here, it says write one of the equations from above in the equation box. So you're going to pick one of these here and write it in this box here. Draw a line under the product. Directions are important here. Circle the factors, reviewing that vocabulary. Use numbers, words, and pictures to show 2 different ways to figure out your multiplication equation that you chose. You can choose any one of these, but you can use pictures, all the things I just reviewed with you. You could do equal groups. You could do repeated addition. You could do the tiles, the arrays. You could do where the lines cross, pictures. Okay? So lots of different things you can do to represent that. All right. Then it says, so that will complete page 52 for you. Look at page 53 for show what you know. Directions, write both multiplication equations that match your picture. Both equations. So that means you might want to turn your page so you can look at it a different way. Remember, that's that commutative property where we're flipping those factors around, okay? So you have to write 2 equations that match it with the commutative property. All right, the next direction box right there says write 2 equations to show the commutative property of multiplication. Same thing you just did in 1 and 2. You're going to do for number 3. Okay? And then for number 4, the final directions, use numbers, pictures, and words, factor, and product to tell about the commutative property of multiplication. So you're going to specifically use the words factor and product to explain what the commutative property of multiplication is. So this is writing. Remember, when you're writing sentences, sentences start with a capital letter and end with a period. Okay? And you should have those words, if you need them, they're in your glossary. We also wrote it on our math vocabulary page. You might want to get some ideas from our multiplication web that we made. And remember, that was on page 48 if you need help. So use what you have in your workbook to go back. But this is a big check today. Okay, so complete before you meet with your teacher on Teams, and I'm giving you some extra time to do it. Page 52 and 53. Have a great 3-day weekend, and I will see you Monday for our final week of summer school.